Hey Marc Doty, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well, Nick Bat. Thank you. Yeah, it's great. We're here at NAMM 2016 and it's incredible.
And the Bob Moog Foundation booth attracts everything. You've got old relics, which are beautiful. What is this? This looks like a particularly special item.
It is really special. In 1965 at RA Moog, they had their first electronic music seminar, and a number of people attended this, including a man named Art Hunkins, who was a professor at the University of North Carolina at Greensboro. And he was so inspired by that 1965 very early Moog seminar, he went back to his school and said, we're starting an electronic music studio. And they did, and it was the first one in North Carolina. In 1967, they were able to afford to purchase this synthesizer, the bottom rack at least at first, and populate it with these fantastic modules. And Art Hunkins used it as a teaching tool at his university. In order to keep it maintained, he eventually had to learn something about electronics, and he learned enough to start actually modifying them and making his own modules. So you'll see, like over here, there's a ring modulator on the 907, which is not normally there, and some other, like the noise source has been massively generated to be more than the white noise generator it used to be. He was able to make modules like this fantastic Panasonic.
Wow.
They took a stereo apart, a stereo component that had that panner in it, and created that module out of it because he had it connected to a quad reel-to-reel system. So he wanted that for panning. This purportedly has some EMU content in it, but I'm not sure what part of it is EMU.
It's kind of hard to tell from the front panel, I guess.
Yes.
Maybe you should go and ask Dave Rossum to come over and give it a once.
I thought about it. But yeah, so, you know, as time progressed at the university, they kind of lost a use for it because there was obviously a point in the late 70s and early 80s, and especially 83, there was no longer, this was obsolete to them. So it's just been sitting around. And then the University of North Carolina wanted to make sure that it stopped sitting in a closet and went somewhere that could be used as an educational tool. So the Bob Moog Foundation is the perfect place for that. So it is on permanent loan to us.
That's lovely. Is it actually making a noise, or is it?
Oh, it does, here. Right now we're having a lot of problems with the envelope generators and also some ranging and scaling problems, but here is at least a very, very basic for a modular sound.
That's the one.
At least get the delicious filter.
Is that just because it got moved and it's sort of so tough, you know, because these things, some of these old electronics, you move it, I guess you had to ship it here, right?
Yeah, it may be. It's hard to say. We could talk about the keyboard now, which I think the keyboard is at least to some degree the culprit. This is Roger Powell's controller keyboard for his dual System 55 system that was given to him in 1974 by Moog because he had recently joined Utopia as the keyboard player, and they thought it would be a great promotional opportunity. So they gave him 2 System 55s and built this custom controller, which has a 952 on the top, so it's duophonic on the top, and a 951 on the bottom, with the added Mini Moog type wheels. And then, because Roger was playing live 2 System 55s, and if you know how big a System 55 is, you know he probably doesn't want to be on stage literally patching. So he had a kind of basic preset system where he had pre-made patches that he could control the volume of with these sliders. And Bob Moog himself, even though he wasn't, like, this was in 1974 when it was no longer Bob's company, and he was often more like a consultant. He actually built this part for this system. So it's really exciting for us to have something that Bob Moog has.
I just want to rewind there. So basically what we have to do is form a globally successful prog rock act, and then we might get given 2 System 55s, right?
Well, yeah, that's a great idea. Okay, we'll go over after, totally do that.
I'll bring the cape.
But this has a great story. Here's the story of this controller. Roger used it with Utopia. You can see it on Utopia videos on YouTube. He's got it. It's in this famous iconic picture up here. And so he had it, and they had a 2-night performance in, did I have it on here? Cleveland. They had a 2-night show in Cleveland. And so they left it on stage, left their equipment on stage overnight because they were going to be performing the next night. Some idiot, well, not idiot, you'll understand in a minute. Somebody broke in and stole this controller, apparently thinking that it would be a keyboard, but it's not, it's just a controller. So it was perfectly useless to anyone who didn't have Roger's 2 System 55s.
But that's all they could carry.
So, and it was gone forever. And then 2 years later, the System 55s were in their practice space, their warehouse practice space, Utopia's warehouse practice space, and the place caught on fire and exploded. The 2 System 55s lost forever.
One could say that this is cursed, then, this keyboard.
Well, maybe, except in 2002, this is hilarious, in 2002, Dominic Milano, former editor of Keyboard Magazine, who's actually right behind us right now.
That's weird.
Saw this on eBay and thought, well, isn't that Roger Powell's lost controller? So he called up Roger Powell and said, your controller's on eBay. So Roger contacted the guy, and the guy actually made him buy it, which is not so cool. If you have Roger Powell's controller, just give it back to Roger Powell. I mean, come on. But anyway, so Roger got it back, and he worked at Apple for a while, and he had this in his office at Apple. And eventually he was like, okay, Bob Moog Foundation, you guys need to have this and preserve it and celebrate it. And so that's what we're doing. That's why we have it here today.
That's a lovely story, Mark.
Thank you.
So, what other purpose are you fulfilling here at the show? You're spreading the word of the Bob Moog Foundation? Picking up like donations like this, maybe? Do you go back with a big pile of free synthesizers from the LA area?
We also are here making sure people know that not only do we do the archival stuff that's so exciting with these synthesizers, but we also have an educational arm, and we're promoting our curriculum for 2nd graders about the science of sound. And because there are a lot of people who are into education here as well.
And where can this information be discovered on the interweb?
I'm sorry?
Where can you find this information? Is there a web address?
Yes, absolutely. BobMoogFoundation.org.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Award-winning customer service. Fast, free shipping on most orders. Own the gear of your dreams today.